How's it going, everybody? Live on Facebook. Just waiting for our guest, Raghida. Hey, Michelle Bruce. These shows resonate with you. Please share. We'd appreciate it. And we do appreciate your continued love, support, and contributions that allow us to keep doing this every day. Two a.m. in Cape Town, and wide awake. I think that's part of people talk about ascension symptoms. That's part of it, isn't it? Staying awake, can't go to sleep. Then you become awake and you can't go. And you become you're supposed to be awake, and then you want to go to sleep. So it's either one or the other. Let's see, Kiwi. All right. All right, let's see if Raghida is here. Nope, not yet. All right, let me send Morgan a note. Let me see if there's a mix-up or something. I usually put on a little something to listen to, but I don't have anything pulled up. It's all right. Okay, so I guess I'll start talking before people start walking. So yeah, man, raw and tender is the order of the day these last few days, this last couple of weeks. Going through stuff. Everybody's feeling it. I gotta believe that at least for a temporary period of time, there has got to be, and I don't mean this to sound like it's separation or anything. There's got to be a select group, a small, strong minority that's doing the bulk of this work, and I think it's all paying off now. If you guys could share these shows to one page, that'd be really cool. We're getting suppressed pretty heavily by Facebook. That's no biggie. We'll transform that situation one way or the other. How's it going, Terry Willette, Geraldine JP, Tika Sukovif, and Diane McLaughlin? Jason Michael Powers is in the house, and McKean. A lot of people that have been on this show and shared space, shared their lives and their experiences. I'm just going to share through the network real quick, and hopefully she'll pop in here. Let me just share this around a little bit. All right, I'm going to have to improvise. All right, 1 second. Let me check with the producer. Okay, here's the deal. The show starts at 11 minutes after the hour. I'm not used to that. So we got 7 minutes to talk about a few things. Let's see. See if we got any comments or questions. Terry says something seems different. An acceptance within me to not judge myself during these emotional processes, among a lot more. That's good. Geraldine, the Soulogy shows are a good reminder to let things pass through, accept them, thank them, and let them through. And Anne Marie says, see if Amanda or Broder's up. Well, Raghida's coming, but she's not coming for 6 more minutes. Wait, let's see. Maybe that's her. No. Jennifer Perez is in the Zoom room. I'll put up the link in the comments just in case anybody's getting knocked off of Facebook. That seems to die down a little bit. There you go. What's up, Sue Baxter Fitz? Stephanie Lynn, Amanda Henning. Got 6 minutes before our guest comes. I didn't know we were starting 11 minutes after, or I was told, but I forgot. We had a lot of good shows the last few days. Really, really, really good shows. If you haven't had a chance, you can go find them. Any of the shows you can find. If you go to photos on my page, then go to albums, and then go to videos, and they're in chronological order from the last one. The first one is the very last one we did. And you can find them on YouTube. I'm still about 20 shows behind loading them up, but I'm loading the old ones and the new ones and having them meet in the middle. So I'm putting up like 5 a day, 5 or 10 a day on YouTube. Yeah, we'll be starting the show in about 4 minutes. I forgot that we were starting at 11 minutes after. So what else is going on? It's getting cold in the northern hemisphere. Winter's coming. Ann McKean said she came across a few bears. Victoria Ferguson's here. But yeah, the climate's changing in all of our fields. Hello, Renata. I see you ran into Honey Borden and Michael Abramson over in Greece. That's very cool. Isn't that cool how people are coming together in the physical that meet? I saw a comment from our sister Marita Sashan yesterday, and she said on one of the shows, and she said she meets regularly with 6 women, and 4 of them she met through Soulogy, and they meet every week. So there's a lot of little groups, coming together, as well as these gatherings that we're having the physical. Leotilda Mustang. Hello. Yeah, timelines are sealing, right? And when the timeline seals and it's no longer there, sometimes it feels like a little death, doesn't it? Like a part of you's gone and you're not getting it back. But we know something good's going to fill that space. This is our 3rd show of the day. We had a couple of really good shows earlier. Good shows yesterday, day before. Vera and Augusti were on yesterday. Yeah. We had Jason Estes, Franco was on. I think they were on Friday. Oh, looks like we got a little bit of an internet lag. Anne's part of the 6. Cool. So, Anne, you're in that group with Marita. That's very cool. That's powerful, because we don't have to physically be with each other, but, there's powers that are available when that happens. But the fact that 2 or more people can meet, and that's really what Soulogy is. I mean, I just was walking around thinking about, trying to make this thing become the dream it's been for Morgan and I, a place where people can share their information, their experiences, their modalities and skills and abilities and their stories and information. And, it just doesn't look like it's going to be in the conventional way, like with the typical website and with like a directory like the Yellow Pages. I think it's more of an energetic thing. And I think examples of this group like Marita and Ann are in, um, I mean, that makes me feel like we've done something to support that, at Soulogy. So that's a good thing. The way this abundance is coming in and the way our manifestations coming in and this new earth is not like it used to be. So you got to look for it in the energetic fields. Stephanie Lynn, you and Morgan have helped me and friends through this shift storm with your shows, and I am so grateful. Talking about the energy shift and knowing we're not alone, yeah, means much. Yeah, it does. That's what I love about Soulogy, because that people look at other people and say, "Hey, I'm not the only one." Let's see. Trina Marie is in the house. Geraldine says, big shifts, had light language in my dreams last night for the first time. Big for me, capital BIG. Right on. Yeah, light language is pretty incredible. It really is. It's very incredible. We had a Soulogy gathering in Sedona. I don't know if you saw the tape. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes long, but there's a part in there where Romeo Barron had came down from LA and Shakina Rose, who lives in Sedona. They both got up with a harp backing them, a beautiful lady playing a harp, and they did light language. And it was very, very cool. And then a new friend went up on the stage and joined them. It was very powerful. Let's see here. I was having vivid dreams of golden rings around me. A lot of people are reporting gold beans, golden liquid, golden particles. And Ann McKean says, very powerful and lots of insights because of Soulogy. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. And Anna Marie says, I need to meet all of you. Well, I think that's what we're doing. I actually think that's what we're doing. And as we all share everything and we exchange soul code, we then in turn share that with others. That's why this thing's all growing so fast. That's why we're accelerating this transition we call ascension. Geraldine said, I felt like I didn't understand the light language, but at the same time I did. Is this normal? Well, I've never spoken it. I have gone into a few other kind of voices. I don't know. To me, I don't know. I can't relate to the light language because I've only done it once or twice. I don't know if that's the way, if that's normal. I would say yes. I would say yes. Yeah, because I think, from the higher awareness and the higher perspective, you have a pretty good understanding of both ends of the spectrum, you know, one extreme to the other, because we're integrating everything. So that would make sense that we would see both sides of the spectrum through an experience like that. Okay, it's now 2 minutes after the start time. I'll be talking to myself here. Raghida. Is Raghida in the house? Sue Baxter Fitz says, I speak it, I don't understand it, but it makes me cry sometimes. Hello, Shaz Hargreaves. I love your comments. Josie Rose. Who else is here? Sue Bampton. Love this beautiful group of souls. Looking forward to this next interview. I have been counseling with Raghida. Such an awesome, full divine feminine. Sue Baxter Fitz says her heart understands. Yeah, the light language. Susan Madsen in Copenhagen. Kate Lumley's in the house. Kate, we need to get you on. So, all right, we're 3 minutes after, 11 minutes after. So now she's in Australia, so hopefully there wasn't a mix up on the day. But we'll give it a couple, 2, 3 more minutes. And then I'll get Morgan to come over here and sit down with me. And we'll have an impromptu conversation about shadow work. What else is going on? Anybody got a comment? Gene Walensky. So excited to hear you guys speak again. Raghida is my beautiful soul sister, and it lights me up to hear her speak. This is Calypso, I can't see very good, Moralitas. And then Jean said, for me, this month is very important to stay in the higher heart and balance there. This is where light language resides on my ki ta me. Sasha Grace is in the house. Morgan Lee's in the house in more ways than one. Let's see. Jennifer Perez in the Zoom room says she loved the Harios Gamos conversation with Morgan. Yeah, there's going to be more of that coming out in a few other subjects. Is Raghida in the house? Kylie Davidson, welcome. She says a storm just came through here. She could be delayed because of that. Okay, cool. We got time. Anne Marie says shadow work. Yes, we need it. Geraldine says happy claps if we get to hear Morgan and Todd in conversation. Well, you guys have to send her a bunch of messages on Instant Messenger and tell her if Raghida doesn't show up, she's got to come sit down with me. I felt tender and raw today. Hey, Jason Michael Powers. We have experienced a big shift and an expansion. Anna Maria A.K. Urania is in the house. Liz Magnolia. Shaz says, I tend to experience whatever is happening prior to it being fully on without the terminology the more advanced or ascended souls may articulate or understand. Let's see. Okay, so Calypso says she has the right day. So maybe she's having some internet problems. Somebody said that they had a storm over there. Hey, Victoria Lillenquist, good to see you. I'm happy you got moved. Hey, Wendy Gow. Paula Taylor. Storms are hitting Byron Bay, where Sasha Grace is. Big love to you, Jason Michael Powers, 44 in the house. Right, he is not here. Oh, yeah. Shaz says she's sore to the touch, really sensitive. Welcome, Valley, Livia Ostajic. Yeah, it's kind of a tenderness, a rawness. Somebody was talking about this at the beginning, saying, well, we were talking about you can't, you lay awake at night. Sometimes you can't go to sleep. And I was saying, yeah, when you're walking around, you want to go to sleep. It's like backwards. Today's been like that. It's been kind of like not wanting to go to sleep, but let's see. There's Raghida. Okay, we got it. All righty, now let's get started. It is 7:17 in New York City, and we have our divine beloved sister Raghida in the house. Thank you all for spending that time with me. Okay. Oh, well, she was coming on. Is it 11:11 in Sydney right now, or is that an hour from now? Can somebody let me know? Because she came into the Zoom room, and then she left. Shaz says, I spoke in tongues in a dream recently, and it was all connected to the Holy Spirit, the divine, the male female divine whole. It's 11:18 in Sydney. Thank you. So she must be having some connection problems. Thank you all for that. 118 in Poland. She does have the right link. Yeah, she came in. Yeah, it was the right link. She popped in the room. Yeah, just have her hit it again if anyone's talking to her. Just go back to Messenger and click the link. What's up, Dale Lawrence? Hello, Alexandra Nikowitz. Resend her the link. Okay, let me resend her the link. sending it to you. Okay. Just be a couple of minutes. She saw it. It's some weird thing on my computer. Won't go away. Okay, she'll be right here. She just got the link. Oh, let's see here. Somebody said Mercury retrograde, Kylie Davidson. Yeah, I've had about enough of accepting the influences of any planetary pattern or anything. I don't know. It is what it is. But other people are saying they're having electronic problems. So I like what Todd said earlier about not knowing what galactic bloodlines he's from. So it's a bit of heaven or a bit of hell. Help. I actually said hell. That's, what does that say? That fits me. Yeah. Covers all the bases, doesn't it? Hello, Anne-Marie Colvin. Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting topic. There was a lady, and I saw her the other day on Facebook, and I can't remember her name. Morgan booked her, and she came on. But going back to what Anne-Marie said, a Christian, 20 years ago, a Christian performed a healing on her with in tongues. So I was wondering if it was the same as light language. And this lady talked about it because she did that in the Pentecostal churches in the southern states of USA. And then she started doing light language. It was really interesting. We have to get her back on. I think her name's Virginia. Okay, here she is. I think. It's showing 4 people. But oh, there she is. Okay. Okay, it's a signal issue. All right. Okay, here we go. As life becomes what we accept as truth. Jason Michael Powers. Okay, here we go. I think it's going to take a second. There you go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, wonderful.
It's
wonderful.
good to see you.
Great to see you again. How are you?
Very good. I'm doing very good. Just wobbling through the ascension, staggering and stumbling, but moving forward. Still moving forward. Whatever that means.
Is the most important bit.
Right? Right? Yeah. And then you find out sometimes you got to move backwards or side to side or up and down. No, I'm kidding around. I'm just playing. How you been though? Yeah, October was good. Yeah, we're gonna have a lag, so I'm gonna try to talk slower so I don't interrupt. Everybody's talking about October, really the last 10 days or so in October, and even going into to the present day. Was it like a really powerful period? Did you pick up on that? Is that how you experienced it or observed it with your practice?
Yeah, I would say October. I felt the shift after the 18th of September, which was the last 999 gateway for this cycle. As you know, we're coming to 2020. So the month of September, in the whole month of September, then the 1st of September, the 9th of September, the 18th of September, and the 27th of September, all were very significant marks in completion of cycles. Completion of cycles in what I would say more third dimensional plane type living of how relationships or change in your work or change in location or change or transition in your career So it may not even be in what you're doing, but a complete shift, moving into your. There was a definite boundary that was placed in September, for the shifts that were going to be coming up in 2020.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a pretty intense ride. What do you have on your mind today? What do you feel like talking about? Is there anything you're writing about or channeling right now, or anything that you see happening that's
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, so I've just noticed a massive influx of twin flames has come up again as usual, but more so than ever, because I think what came to me when I sat down and channeled and I asked Spirit, what is it that needs to come through and be shared? Is it this is the next cycle, the next evolutionary cycle of twin flame awakening and mass consciousness awakening since 2012. The last portal of this was in the 1212 gateway of 2012, and what they called the end of time, the red kachina by the shamans on the 21st of December 2012, which was also the solstice, the December solstice gateway. This is now the next turn in that spiral. So the ones that went through the awakening, the evolutionary process, transitions in their life then, and now at the other side of it, and the next groups or the next waves of ascension and evolution are coming through. So it's a very, very similar time to the Venus transit we had in May 2012, and now 2020 is the beginning, a new mark in the age of enlightenment. That is the decade of enlightenment for mass consciousness awakening. The pioneers and the way showers and the star seeds and the Acturian frequency, the Pleiadian frequency, the Cyrus gateway, ancient Egypt, codes came through very strong in the last 7 years. In the next 7, it's the awakening of the mass consciousness, the greatest consciousness of cloud evolution that is still asleep will go through that transition. And this time, Todd, the energy that came through very strong to share is that they won't actually have a choice. It will be beyond them. If they haven't done the work, it will be not forced. I don't want to use that word. Nothing is ever forced because we have free will for coming to Earth at this time. But it'll be above them. It'll be their soul that will take over and create circumstances, events, situations, and different energies in their environment to to move the influx of their soul from 5D into 3D.
Yeah, let go or be dragged. Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's not going to be forced, but I mean, on free will can also be, I want to do this with, pain
ease and grace
and suffering,
or
or
pain.
or
Yes.
ease and grace. Yeah.
There's I would say grace is something that is cultivated and happens to you through a breakdown of your ego. You just surrender to the divine and you come into a state of grace to allow that. Many that are still asleep, Todd, are not privy to that yet. It will be inducted by something that will bring on pain, as you rightly said, to bring on that shift. So it may be a dis-ease in the body. It may be where they're just suddenly, after 30 years of being in a contract in a company, told, we don't want you anymore. Or, it may be by natural cycles of the environment from Pachamama that create a shift along to them to move out of locations. It will be beyond them, but it'll be powerful, strong, and beckoning them more than they have ever felt in a culmination of all their lifetimes. This will be the one. This is the next trajectory of human evolution since the crossing of the Bering Straits from the Himalayan cycle to the South American cycle in the last 13,000 years. There was a split. 26 was 25,920, but to make it even, let's make it 26,000 year cycle. The first 13 went through the Himalayan the Bering Straits. Next evolution was to the Andean Mountains, the divine feminine, and now those two polarity grids are coming together in unison to create a unified soul again for humanity. Many of us have been alive then and are alive now to assist the shift and the awakening, because we know what the success is on the other side. We know what the process of evolution looks like once the light codes have been enacted.
Powerful stuff is happening to people. And, I know you have been, there's many things that you pull information down on. One of them, one of the big ones is twin flame energy. And you made the remark that this is the first time since 12/12 of 2012 that there's been, I guess, an expansion, and it sounds like a huge expansion or availability of twin flame energies. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit? I mean, I know a lot of people get caught up in it being a couple. I mean, I know it's an energy that a lot of couples exhibit or represent, but really you're talking energy at the end of the day. But can you give us more
Correct.
information on what you mean or what the impact of that is?
Yep. So as we're moving into 2020, it's the age and the decade of enlightenment, which means many of the karmic contracts that were being played out in the Piscean age up until 2012, we were given one cycle, a 7-year grace period to come in to the evolution of Dharma, into the evolution of destiny, into the evolution of our higher self. There are many of us, myself included, I would say you and your gorgeous twin are included, and many twins that have gone through the cycle in the last 7 years know exactly what I'm talking about. We were kind of, because we were the oldest, strongest souls that could bear the most pain, went through it first. So we can crack open that cement wall. It's a bit like the Berlin Wall has gone down, but this has gone down for the entire planet. The entire evolution of humanity now has begun. The influx of the pioneers of light have done the first breakthrough to bring down the densest matter of the oldest conditioning of human beliefs that have happened, and it was led by twin flames. I want to make this very clear because I've noticed a lot of questions come through my socials on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Everybody thinks they're a twin flame. They're not. Everybody does have a twin flame because from the dawn of time, your soul was split in two by the divine into a divine masculine, divine feminine counterpart. But there's only 77,000 units, couples, or yin yang, masculine, feminine energies, if you want to call them that. Or for some, like Todd, who are actually in union doing the work. For some twins, the union precedes the mission, which means for Todd and his beautiful partner, they have needed the union to do their mission together. Their souls have made the pact to do it together. For other twins, the mission comes online first because they may have other contracts they are still completing, which does not require the energy of their twin in the 3D. So I get a lot of clients who come to me and say, oh, he's very abusive. I know it's him. I've never felt like this. I can't let him go. I said, please have the discernment. Even if it is your twin flame, abuse is not acceptable. Twin flames do not treat each other like that. It's the purest, most divinest source of love ever. If it is something karmic, you must look at it and acknowledge it for what it is and not accept it under a false label. My whole role, Todd, is to smash the illusion and the distortion around so many. There are 77,000, 144,000 twins. That's it. The reason why I'm sharing that is they are carrying the 12 by 12 DNA light codes for the evolution of humanity at this time to lead it into the age of Aquarius and the golden age of light for the next 2,000-year cycle while we are in the age of Aquarius. Each zodiac is a 2,000-year period, or sorry, 2, 3, 2, 4, but let's just say 2,500 years. During this time, many of the twins have incarnated. So we have a massive light consciousness code to awaken the crystal codes of the earth that were tarnished over the last cycle, to assist Gaia to ascend to her 5th dimensional frequency and beyond, and of course to awaken the mass consciousness that are still asleep, to get out of that matrix, to get out of what I call the slavery of the new world slavery is having a mortgage. One partner has, you're paying the fat cats in the bank to live in a house, to eat and pay your mortgage. It's the same as being a slave. You're just not chained up. You're chained up mentally, which is actually more exhausting. We are now ready for, and what the biggest thing I've been drawing on and keep calling to every twin, to every person, is passion. Find your happiness. Let go of the money, make that secondary, and find your mission, find your passion, find your destiny. And it's so easy. People say to me, I don't know what it is. Twin flames, you know what it is. You know by how you feel about something, what you enjoy doing, even if it's going to the gym. But start with something. Start with something that you enjoy, and slowly those increments begin to build until they become a new construct. It's not one thing. As
Yeah.
you know, Todd, we're
And
moving into multi-dimensional
yeah,
aspects of ourselves.
yeah, and on that note, yeah, I think this is a great subject to discuss this because it's just one of several aspects that are poking their head out. Let's put it that way. So if you look at the subject of twin flames and look at it as an energy that happens to be, let's just say, most represented in 77,000 couples, but it is an energy that is, like you said, being anchored back onto the earth. Whether we're talking about that type of situation with what you're calling the twin flame energy, or say a Christ consciousness energy, or another type of energy that seems to be characteristic of ascension qualities, let's just say that, do you think that the world will start to see and acknowledge and recognize these these energies that are being anchored to the earth? In other words, more of an acceptance into the mainstream, or becomes the mainstream?
You mean the mainstream, as in the awakening that's happening on planet
Well,
Earth?
just yeah, I just mean, like, as a a worldwide known event
Yeah.
occurrence, yeah, where they'll actually
Yes.
look at these different types of energy. Yeah, okay, you get what I'm saying.
Yes. It's happening in different forms. So the framework, what I call the framework of the crystalline Earth grids of there's now 186,000 portals across the world that have been opened, awakened, activated, and anchored for this time has already been done. The anchoring work of light for Earth has now been done. It's solidified, or in the solidification process, if you so to speak. What we're now doing is, when something gets anchored, the light codes, the crystalline light codes from the Earth rise up, and the solar logos, or the light rays of the central sun, the greater central sun, come in, and together they begin to morph the new DNA patterning of humanity. We are the conduits. The twin flames carried those light codes dormant in their cells until now. And that's why I was saying earlier to some twins, please don't give up hope on your twin. Sometimes the mission precedes the union. Your light codes were needed in specific locations across the planet to hold that, and we couldn't do it as one. We've needed the collective of the 144,000 of them to do it, some in union, some not in union, and some who are still in other relationships that were helping them hold it at a third dimensional plane level. As I've mentioned with you, Todd, before, just very, very briefly, or with other people is, sorry, I just have to remove that.
It's all good.
With other people is going on. What I was trying to say is, twin flames were the pioneers, are the pioneers, and the way showers of light, because they carry the highest frequency from the divine one source creation. Because of the anchoring they've done, the opening up of all of the family, ancestral, genetic, karmic grids, and clearing ancestry and cross ancestral grids, that has now paved the way, Todd, for the collective to begin to awaken. It was enough to create the new waves of evolution, of ascension, to break through the mass consciousness going into 2020.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, the way like, another way to say it, the way I see it is, whether, okay, we're talking twin flames, they bring a certain code, anchor a certain code, that code becomes available on the
Yeah.
earth now. And then as people are exposed to it, then they in turn share it, consciously or not, with others. Yeah, yeah, that's the
Yes.
way I understand it. That feels right. Yeah, yeah. That
100%,
feels right.
100%. And just to go on a little bit, just very quickly, that's why there has been another. You just asked about the next levels of twins. There's been a massive popping open of the consciousness of twin flames, because for those that are ready, the evolution of their soul has now brought on the frequency of their counterpart blueprint to them because of their awakening, because of what they're going through and doing the work and showing up in that. It has made it now opportunistic for them to connect in with their twin the next rounds. So there's rings of them. There's rings of twins. You want to call it rings of twins, or the toric field, the electromagnetic force that brings them together. Those forces are beginning to expand, evolve, and they're working at the cosmic gateways, the inner earth gateways, and of course in the third dimensional plane. All are beginning to become in unison. There's definitely a cross collateral grid being created across the earth as we speak.
That's pretty cool. So basically, on a one-to-one basis, all we got to do is love each other, and it just
Starts with that.
from there.
Totally. Yeah. And you know what?
Well,
Love ourselves. Love ourselves first. Love ourselves first
yeah.
and foremost. And then, of
Oh
course,
yeah,
love Queen. Love the people around you. Just hold the energy of love. Love will dissolve everything. It really is that simple. It really is.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely, it is. Yeah, but then the thing is, what's so interesting about this trip, regardless of how much past or future life memory you think you have or don't have, is in this one, that the human aspect. I mean, it no matter how deep the connection goes or how much elevation there is, the human aspect is still there. It's like still there asking questions. And I don't mean like egoically. I just mean we're still very human, and in this thick skin, and that makes it, I know at some level, that's what really kicks this thing. That's what really creates this experience we're having, because of the huge transformation that we're coming from physical or integration, physical, non-physical. Yeah.
The human part of us is very important as twin flames, or all of humanity, because as a 5D, you're basically birthing. You're basically, honestly, the way to put it in simplistic terms is you're rebirthing yourself, and you're bringing more spirit into flesh, more light into density. And in that process, it can be very painful, and it can bring up a lot of inner tumultuous energy. I want to do this. No, I don't want to do it. I want to do it. No, I don't want to do it, which is what we call the push-pull. It even doesn't happen to twins. It happens to everyone, because there's a resistance. Right. The second the ego begins to think it's dying, the reptilian part of our brain kicks in, and the fight, flight, freeze mechanism gets activated immediately. So in that, we begin to hold on to our old processes, our old ways of thinking, our old modalities, because it's a crux. It's something we know. It's something we have certainty on. The shift in 5D is being completely in the letting go, which is very hard, because the second you let go, you think you could be free falling. And if you free fall, what the hell does that mean? Where do I end up? What's the guarantee? That's the dance.
Yeah.
That's the weaving. That's the dance. That's the sacred dance that we are consistently doing.
Yeah. And I think, and, people, these last 2-3 weeks been talking about, and beyond it, like levels of death. Like, like you're shedding something and it feels good, and it's being released or integrated, but there's a part of you that you're never going to get back. And I think when you just said that about the reptilian brain response quotient,
that's the
reaction
one.
quotient, that's what it is. We're actually saying goodbye to that part of us, which, by some people's stories and explanations, that would be the bad part, but it's actually a part of us. It's a part of us that got us here. It's a very important part of our evolution and development. And so it's kind of a bittersweet kind of thing, right?
It is bittersweet. You know what, Todd? You're right on the money. And I'm going to cross to shamanism here, because this is where the shamanic medicine comes in, where we can really help to activate a lot of people who are going to watch this and assist them in their evolution. Wherever there is a death, guaranteed, it is law of the universe, there's a rebirth. So it's not the rites of the funeral procession, it's the rites of the spring. It's the rites of coming out of a winter soul season into a spring soul season. It truly is. They're just going through shamanic deaths. I agree with you. Grieve what you have to grieve. Absolutely. That's part of being human. That's part of feeling. Otherwise you may as well be a spirit and have the 5D experience. The shamans always speak about having a foothold in both worlds, a foothold in this world and a foothold in the invisible world. And then we do the sacred dance through ceremony, through initiation, through transmissions, through sitting in the silence of the soul, and through completely allowing the reptilian or the egoic part of us or the lower personality self, where we just hold it with compassion and hold it with understanding that this is only a transitional period. Every night there is a dusk, and every morning there is a dawn. And in between the dusk and the dawn is the void. We go through it every day already. That's how I describe
that's where we create this thing.
Totally.
No,
100%.
that's a good description. That's a good description. It really is. It's funny because the whole idea of dark or negative or evil, or however you want to say that, being, first of all, even being present, or let's see, being what we've been led to believe it was, is going away. And then the whole feeling about integrating with something dark, integrating with a shadow, that's becoming more acceptable to people. And I think that's a huge step, because
I
it
love
really
it.
is to
Music.
thine own self.
Yeah, and twin flames, predominantly because I work with so many of them. The more you ascend, the more you're evolving, the more you're doing your spiritual work and coming to that place of enlightenment within your soul and awakening and removing and purifying your soul back to its light essence of the solar sun, the greater your darkness. And it's not something to be ashamed of. Embrace it. That is the time where the magic medicine of the soul, the night soul, comes in. Transformation, because that is working with the energy of the yin. And we are yin yang, babe. We're in a dual universe, Todd. We can't have one without the other. They marry together. It's the marrying together. It's making it your ally. I love shadow work more than I love light now. Because I'll tell you one thing I want to share with you all today, Todd, and I think you will completely agree with me on this, particularly with all the beautiful light workers you work with around the world. I'm sure you hear this a lot. Once you integrate the light and the dark, guess what? You're back to the light again. Underneath the light and the dark is the oneness of the light. So it's a journey back to the light anyway. Why would you deny it? And you know what, Todd? People will see what you're hiding anyway. So what the hell? Let it be there. Embrace your totality. Honestly, babe. Honestly, just bring it all online. Yeah. Completely. It's like, this is who I am. That's the human part of me, and that's a spirit part of me. Animal body and spirit together. Beauty and the Beast.
Well, that's what I say. Don't run to the light, run to the dark.
Totally.
That's where the fastest growth is going to be. Well, and it's interesting too, because like, okay, so if I'm walking in the light, because so much of the stuff we get's metaphoric. If I'm walking in the light, everything I can see, I already know. So how are you going to expand and elevate if you're walking in the light with everything familiar to you? So this is that's the elixir. That's what lights the whole thing up. Is it's like jumping off a cliff into a pool of water, or doing something that's a little bit scary, or a little bit risky. And when you do it and you're done, you feel so incredible. Your whole body lights up. You feel incredible because you did it.
Yeah,
everything
comes alive.
Another energy. That's another energy that's growing too, because people are taking leaps and it's working.
It definitely accelerates evolution, and the dark, perceived dark, is actually a river of light underneath it. It's just usually beliefs. It's usually misconstrued veils, distortions, and illusions that we've carried from lineage to lineage, generation to generation, or through our own being young, vulnerable, and misplaced energy. We didn't know how to deal with it. It became a modality or a thought process in us. As we now evolve, we begin to realize that was totally an illusion. I was completely veiled there.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the pure
Yeah.
essence of who you are, it is light. Light it shall be. And it's the amalgamation of the light and the dark into the oneness to recreate the light again. So actually,
Yeah,
the dark is essential. It's essential. It's go hand in hand.
We wouldn't be waking up if there wasn't that element in there. You know, it's
And
funny
that's
because
the
if you
beauty
look
of it.
if you look at the stages of someone's awakening, most people, like, you know, the timeline would have been 9/11, and then, you know, a few years into it, go, wait a minute, that ain't right. Something's not right there. And then some more global stuff. And then it becomes the family stuff, right? You know, and it
Yeah,
gets a little bit closer to just you. And then it becomes in your own little head. Why do I
correct.
do that? Why did I
Yes.
act out? Why did I project? What was that memory I didn't know about? And all that stuff. And now it seems to be at a point where it's become a very fluid and steady, even quick flow of thoughts and events and situations and circumstances and energies and impressions that we're able to go, oh, we know we were able to stay in that middle ground, you know, and not go into the so much judgment and the self judgment, which is really important, and really, you know, integrate as we're walking the path. You know, it's not like it was 6 months or a year ago or 2-3 years ago where you'd go into 3 or 4 weeks of shadow work on one issue. So that to me is kind of evidence of the quantum, no more linear. One of the characteristics of it, you know, to me
Change
it
in
is.
time. It's a change in time.
Mm.
You're so in alignment, Todd, because when you do the shadow work, as you said, 3-4 years ago, it would have taken 6 weeks to get through something. Think, oh my God, like I'm dying through this. When is it ever going to end? When am I ever going to see the light? Now, because of the acceleration of time from linear to oceanic time or spiraling, because in the infinite, it isn't linear. It goes, it's vertical. The ascension movement and evolution is vertical. When you have vertical movement, you have front and back. When you have front and back, there's light and dark. That's actually the law of the universe. So the more you're ascending, the more you're experiencing both. Whereas linear, it's suppressed down, it's kept down, and it's slower. The motion, the repetition of the sine wave is much slower. Once it becomes a fissure and a fusion, completely different dynamic, completely different. So you're amalgamating the light in the dark into oneness through the spiral every time the spiral moves around. It's a circle, open circle.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question as a representative of potential clients, a 99.99%. What would you recommend to people? Because, and the reason I'm asking this is because people have asked this in one way or the other throughout these broadcasts. So I'm going to put it in a question. What would you recommend to somebody as a starting point when they're presented with a dark energy, or what they perceive as a dark energy, whether it be something that materializes in your bedroom, whether it be a thought in your head, whether it be a dream, you know, whether it even be a person, you know, what would you tell somebody that came to you with that question, that wants to integrate all aspects of the universe?
You mean to work with the dark energies that are outside of them? I would first say two things. If they're representing to you outside, as in a figurine, like a silhouette or an entity or an attachment of some sort, is check in with yourself where there is fear. What that tells me is there's something unconscious within their psyche, and it's usually attached to a chakra, Todd. It spins in a chakra, because if you ask somebody, you feel, someone will say, I feel it in my throat like I can't breathe. Or a lot of them used to say to me when I was doing shamanic work as a shamanic practitioner, is in their gut. They hold it in their stomach or in the lower energy, because in the lower energy centers, we carry our unconscious fear-based systems. So I would check in with them. Where are you holding fear? What is it that you are afraid of moving forward into? So it's usually it's an unconscious way to hold themselves back, so they can have that time to heal something within themselves. So it's reflected to them in their outer world. It can also be the opposite. I really want to give you that, because some people say to me, oh, but babe, I've done all this work. Like I'm complete. I don't feel that. That's not me. That was my twin or someone else, or, that was definitely an energy that I was in a nightclub or I was in a bar and I picked up some, that was not me. Because we're in a
Right.
dual universe, your intense light is attracting the complete polarity of you, which is intense dark. What I do in that case is envelope. It's a very strong protection mechanism you bring in, whatever you use for protections. Two things. If you're experiencing darkness, there's an unconscious psyche that needs to be looked at, that it's attached to a chakra, what I call the hard drive in the system. Or you are experiencing intense growth of light, and your light is like bringing the moths to your light. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're
Yeah.
doing the wrong. You've got the opposite going on because of the dual universe. Check in with yourself. Is it something I'm carrying from within? Or is this something that I'm attracting from without because of the polarity grid that I'm holding? If it's from within, look to see which chakra it's attached to and begin to work on releasing the fear. Usually these are the four I've found: fear, shame, guilt, judgment, punishment. It's usually attached to those, what I call this, there's actually seven of them, there's seven scorpions. One's illusion and one's a disconnection from the divine. There's seven scorpions. And these are the ones that are attached in each chakra. They're literally, babe, they're literally attached on like a black magnetic filing. By releasing the energy of it, the filing disperses. It breaks the quantum force of it.
Yeah.
Does that make
Um,
sense?
yeah, that makes total sense. And well, the reason I'm saying that is because I think all of our paths really are the same. We go through the same things.
Yes.
They just don't look the same. We
Yes.
all have to go through the different stargates,
100%.
whatever you want to call it. But what I notice, the reason I say that is because if I look around what I'm seeing in the field, with the work I do, and I look back on my journey. So I went through a period where I definitely felt things were external, to include a spirit guide or a divine essence, or a dark energy. And then I spent about 2 years walking in a cemetery every night, and I, basically integrated, at least to my level of awareness, integrated all points of dark and light. But what I'm getting to is that as my journeys progressed and started cohabitating with Morgan and having a practice of connecting every night, sometimes I've seen dark energies that, and I don't mean dark
Yep.
as in color. I just mean, like that are profound or whatever that is that makes you feel the way it makes you feel, that in opening up to them and accepting them and bringing them fully. And I'm not recommending anyone do this. I'm just saying it's worked for me in a progressive way over since the summer of 2017, especially with energies that I'd come across, whether they be in connection with the universe or whatever. Because I don't know, I'm just getting to a point, and this isn't coming from me, or I even think universal intelligence. I think it's coming from the conversations and the energetic pathways that people have been creating, people like you that have been connecting for a long time, but that basically I'm able to integrate anything that comes my way, because my understanding is that what I'm looking at is me. Like, in other words, I'm putting it in front of me. Now, I do agree with what you said about the other possibility, but I see it more as like something following you around, attached like a little brother or sister that would follow you around versus actually attaching inside your body, although I'm sure that's possible or has been possible in the past too. But I guess what I'm getting at is, are we moving into a vibration where there is no differences and there is no right and wrong and there is no dark and light? Do you think that's something we'll actually physically realize and experience in this collective experience?
100%. That's okay. So maybe I need to describe that a little bit more. When you're going through your awakening, the greater your light, the more dark will be attracted to you. It's just a natural phenomenon of the universe because of the world of duality we live in. We are in a linear plane here. In the oneness of all creation, it's all light. As we bring in more light codes onto the earth, darker energies or attachments or entities become interested in you. I want to put it that way so it doesn't give people fear. It's nothing to fear. It's what they're doing is doing two things. You're right, they may not be attached to you, but they're attached to an energy you're carrying. They're mirroring for you an energy that is still unresolved within you that needs to be looked at, that needs to be addressed.
Exactly.
They're not necessarily after you, eat you up. Do you know what I'm trying to say? They're literally
No,
holding an
exactly,
energy
exactly. You're,
yeah,
yeah,
to
yeah,
see.
yeah, and maybe it's just simply part of our evolution because at one level, an energy that we might present or put before ourselves in that capacity might be so huge, that it scares us. But as we have a higher awareness, we're able to look at things and not immediately give power over. That to me seems to be the biggest lesson with anything that presents itself to me. And it doesn't really go down like the way I'm going to describe it, but it's kind of like, am I going to give my power over to this? That's why somebody made a comment earlier before you came on about Mercury retrograde. And I was like, you know what? I've had enough of that. Like, I'm not going to give my power over to Mercury retrograde. I don't give a damn if it's been
High
working
five.
like clockwork for the last million years. You know what I mean? I mean, I think that's where we're at.
I
And
love
what
you,
I
Pod.
find really
I love you. That's
fascinating,
music to my ears.
well, what I was going to say, what I find really fascinating, and I think that we're missing, but we're starting to get, is that we're actually, and metaphorically, for lack of a better way, we're the center of the universe. We're actually creating this transformation from the most densest place, no longer giving our power over. And so that is as infecting us in a good way when it comes to manifestation, creativity, and that type of stuff. I mean, I
A
just
whole,
don't think anyone has any
a whole.
idea what the hell we're actually getting into. I think it's going to be magical, literally magical all the time, 24/7,
Com- I'm completely with you, brother. I'm
Oh,
completely with you on that. Completely. And one other thing I want to add to that. It's exactly what Todd is saying for all the listeners out there. Not only are you no longer going to abdicate your power to anyone else, but it's about you reclaiming your power, reclaiming your sovereignty, reclaiming your dominion over lower authorities, over authorities that are based in fear and structures that no longer serve the highest levelist potential that you're carrying in this consciousness right now, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the time we've been waiting for. We are the ones we have
oh
been waiting
wow.
for. We are the ones, brother,
You
honestly.
see, they're ringing the bell over there.
I don't know what's going on. My phone has never been this. I'm actually going to switch my mobile phone
That's
off
the
somehow.
universe.
That's
That's the universe. That's the universe
giving
aligning
through.
with
Yes,
what you're
yes,
saying
yes.
and what's
I
happening.
just switched.
But this is what's freaking me out. Not freaking me out. I'm looking at it and I'm in awe because I'm in the same, I'm in the same, I don't want to say profession, but I'm in the same circle you're in. Right. And everyone here that's watching, a lot of people are practitioners. A lot of people do post or one-on-one sessions, or, I do things the way I do it or whatever, but it's all the same thing.
Yeah,
But everything is
100%.
changing so fast. Yeah. Everything's changing so fast that it's like we're growing so quickly. I don't know, it's like everything's changing. How we communicate is changing rapidly. Our everything is just moving so quickly that I don't know, for me, maybe that's where all these little deaths have been, because you're letting go of even the most recent belief systems that you had, the ones that you created or earned or evolved to while you were in this ascension, let's say for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years, whatever. All of that stuff's
Mm-hmm.
changing. It's like we wake up the next day and everybody's on the same level. and you're sitting there like a baby. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. It's just like, where are the modalities going to go? Where are the processes going to go? Which ones are going to be useful? Which ones are not going to be useful? How do we present things? How do you make a video? How do you do a live? I mean, all these things seem to be changing because the information's being transferred way beyond just words.
So, two things on that one is, I don't know what's going on here. I think whoever set up, I've got a brand new laptop, so I think my iMessage has come to this as well. So it's just constant. It's because I haven't been on for a while. It's been uploading. Okay, what I'd say to that is, this is crazy. I've never seen anything so intense. Lindsay, I don't know how to turn this off, sweetheart. Anyway, what's actually happening is, once the karmic process is finished for us in the 3D, there's a lapse time. In 5D, your feedback is instant, Todd. So when something happens, whether it's manifestation or whether exactly what you said, there's no right or wrong. What there is an awakening, an activation, an ascension process, a movement towards something. So it's this right, wrong, black, white is completely changing. The whole dynamic is becoming multidimensional. We're no longer just third dimensional plane beings. So once the 3D world has been cut off for you, your 5D platform kicks in, and that is instant feedback, positive and negative. And I don't mean positive or negative, whatever your experience is, whatever you're showing up in as. So manifestation comes on so quick. When people say to me, "Oh, I can't," I said, then there's still something you need to see in your third dimensional plane that hasn't been activated. And that was the darkness I was talking to you about before, where they come to you from external.
I get that.
But you check in within you to see. Yeah, that's. And one other thing I wanted to add to that darkness, because it came up and it keeps staying with me, which means I must share it, is this. As we ascend and move to light, the dark forces or the dark entities or energies aren't necessarily out to hurt you. They want to move to the light. So if you can hold pure love with no judgment, they will ascend on their process. What you're actually doing is assisting ascension for the greater collective, because you're moving them out of the mass cloud. Does that make sense? They're no longer earthbound. You're moving them from an earthbound energy into a different bardo, into a different dimensional frequency, into the upper worlds. So you're doing justice. You're doing magical work. Just there, you're doing your work. Just there is evolution, where you're assisting them to move onto their own light process. Nothing to do with you. You're just a conduit of the light.
I agree. I agree totally, and that's why, that's why I was trying to say earlier, and you just followed it up with a better, so I can surmise it and say, it's everything that we do, everything that we think, say, do, has repercussions across all timelines and dimensions. We're connected to every single aspect of it. That includes whatever divine essence walks into your bedroom and gives you a message, whether it's dark looking or light looking. You're actually transforming. We're merging with these energies. They're learning from us. We're learning from them. This is a complex cosmic, web of magnetic and electrical connections. I mean, this is I don't think the universe has ever experienced what we're doing. I would put it that way.
We're now co-creating as we go. We're literally you're Todd, I love what you're saying, because this is honest. This is evolution right here, right now. What you're saying, you're at the forefront of it. We're the co-creators as we're moving into consciousness day by day. Right now, we're co-creating with the divine. We're consciously co-creating as two divine beings, holding the light force as a unified field and bringing in a whole new trajectory of awakening for the human psyche, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is good. This is good stuff, and that's why I love doing what I do, because the information just comes out in the conversation, and
Love it.
And
You're
it's
channeling
really
the divine.
the energies. Well, yeah, and and I think it's the size of the portal, because all the energy of the people because there's no time as well. So it's not just the people that are here live, but the people on the replay. All that energies come together and really have the same objective, the same trajectory. And here we are. and it's like, oh my God, look what happened today. And then you wake up tomorrow and, you get the cobwebs out of your eyes and you get back on planet and the miracles start again. I mean, this is really happening. Somebody mentioned fairy tale earlier. I mean, we can call it the new good book, the new blueprint, but I really think that the time's coming very soon when the world accepts what's gone on, things like Christ consciousness, energetic, our people that carry that energy, or twin flame energy, as you describe it. I think after that is when they're going to start to look at how quick and instantly we can change ourselves. I mean, this is
100%.
becoming, it's going to become an epidemic. Yeah. So who knows where we're going to be in 12 months? We could all be flying around without capes.
Well, this is the age of enlightenment. We're coming into the decade of complete light codes are fully open now, Todd. This is the last, I would say this last quarter of 2019 is the final bits of the way I see them in my third eye, in my multidimensional eye, is these are the final threads. These are the final, shrapnel, or the final, invisible, lines that are now being dissolved for you so that you can be a completely, exactly what you just said, a complete multi-dimensional being, bringing in all of the lifetimes, the culminations where you've had mastery, where you've had divinity, where you have seen the evolutionary cycles of humanity move from one form to another, and you've held that grid. And you're here to do it again. And you're able to recreate, as you rightly said, this is unprecedented light, unprecedented evolution. Look at the awakening, even in the business communities, even the whole world is completely, there's more money than there ever has been. There's more popular people than there ever has been. There's more beauty than there ever has been. There's more people buying and doing and accepting. And it's like it's awakened to the masses. It's no longer the elite few or the secret society, where we are becoming power to the people. It's expanding, evolving, moving, transcending, and expanding into fields of consciousness that we are co-creating into existence, lifetime, where there is no time. We're accessing what's called the infinite oceanic time. Oceanic time. It's a momentum tunnel. And in the momentum tunnel, any trajectory, any thread can be taken on and brought into this moment that quick. The
Yeah.
future brought into the
Yeah.
now. Now.
That's what I mean. It's so quantum, in people. This is what it's going to be like, and that's what it's going to be like. I'm like, man, I don't think we have any idea what it's going to be like. I mean, it's just like we're just tapping into this infinite power and all that goes with it. But we're in a physical body, in a physical, what seems to be a physical world. We're converting this world. It's not going to be long before we're walking down the street and people are having what was at one time a dimensional experience in singularity, and we're 5, 6, 8, 10 people seeing the same thing, which is
Yep.
there, and we're removing those veils, but in a metaphoric sense. So, do you got anything coming up? I don't want to go out the door without giving you an opportunity. I know you were doing some traveling. Last time I talked to you, or you were going to, or you just came back. I can't
Yeah, I'm
remember.
going now. I'm leaving.
I can't
I'm leaving on Thursday
Ascension,
to
but
Singapore. Yeah,
yeah.
I've got my Asian
Oh
tour
wow.
coming up. I'm in Singapore and Hong Kong and Taiwan. So I'll be doing an Asia tour and a couple of secret locations after that that I have to do for earthwork.
Ah.
Yeah, but I've
Ah.
opened up a YouTube channel since I last spoke to you. I'm now on YouTube
Yeah.
under Raghida.
Yeah.
And my
I seen it.
socials, Raghida Official, and Twitter. I'm on Twitter now and Facebook. Just putting content out
Yeah.
there. I think it's really important. I just really want to share. I've been so blessed. I feel like I'm like you. I've tapped into that trajectory, and I'm just completely like just going for it, helping, ascending, assisting humanity. And honestly, Todd, we can have it all. And on this Asian tour, it's going to be my whole thing. Next year is my big tour, doing a worldwide one. I'm coming to the US, so I'll definitely catch up with you and Morgan, and maybe we'll do something live together in the States. But this year I'm finishing Asia because I'm doing very specific grid work on the equator, and seeing some beautiful, beautiful soul family there. So For now, it's just I'm doing my tours. I am doing. There was a hitch in my. I'll share it with you all. I'm about to launch. It'll take me early into the new year. A brand new interactive website where I can do all of this sort of work online. So I've still got an old one. It's about 3-4 years old. It's been in a glitch where I've got it now with a whole new marketing agency. I should be ready to do a lot of work online with a whole new interactive modalities. I'm just going completely online, interactive, expanding out. End of January is the launch of that. But for now, I'm in the process of still doing in the old ways where I'm showing up in physical locations and completing the cycles that I have to do. But I am doing online sessions. I do them via Skype or Viber. Very happy to help anybody who really wants to evolve. The pricing is not what it was on the old website. There was an issue and I couldn't fix it. So we've rectified that. And I am working very closely with a lot of twin flames. Any questions you want to know, very happy to help. Go on the socials, write your comments. I'm creating portals. It's helping so many others. People are writing things down. And then what it's doing is it's creating a portal for people to speak their truth. The big thing, Todd, is a lot of people still have fear about being seen and about not only being seen, speaking the truth out of repercussion of what that means to them, how people will still view them, what people will say about them. You know, there's still that external frame of reference. And I want to here to smash it, that you have your own internal frame of reference, that you become self-empowered, like Todd said. Not only self-empowered, reclaim your power to your sovereignty, people. Take back your power and remember that you are monarchy. The people that are in 5D now, they're all sovereign beings of light, babe. We're the royal lineage. The truth is we don't need to have a bloody crown to wear it. We are the crowns. We are carrying the strongest codes of light on planet Earth. That goes above and beyond. Do you know how many people I see? How many business clients I have, Todd, and you could probably relate to this as well, who come and see me from the 3D, got all the money in the world. They've got all the external. They've got, you name it, they've got it. Whatever you tell me in 3D, these people have it. Peace, they don't have. They don't have a passion. They don't have a mission. They feel something is deeply missing within their soul. When you are full on the inside, you are already filled with the gems of the world. It's only a matter of time before the external mirrors you that. It's you allowing that frame to come in. Fill yourself up on the inside. It's an inside job, people. That's what we have as 5D beings, as sovereign beings of light. That's what we have. That's the advantage. Now take it and take it by the horns and run with all of your soul. Just let your soul let you be free. Liberate yourself from the shackles that no longer need to be held, so we can assist humanity and assist us to have everything that we want, everything that we desire. It's not a wishful thinking. It is our divine right. It is what we are here to do, Todd.
Boom. That's a big boom. Yeah, that was yes, that was very good. I appreciate it. I look forward to collaborating with you again and again. And best of safe journey, good journey, great journey. Good luck on your grid work. I know you've got everything coming into alignment there. And best to you and yours always. All blessings. You take care.
Many blessings to you
Peace
and
out,
Morgan and your
everybody.
family as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very